Check, check, 1 2 1 2. Mic check, 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2. Check, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Hey, hey, 1 2. Audio check, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Good. Okay. Is yours? Are you able to see?
So I'm going to kick it off. Then we're going to go to the chief. Councilman, I'll ask you to say a few words after that. Do you want to say anything? What do you have anything to say?
I'm an elected official.
That's right.
But whatever you
Let's go with yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then after James,
Yep.
so after Robin, I'll ask
That's
you to say a few
fine.
things as well. Then Brian, who works for Public Works. Then Carolyn, JCPS. Oh, excuse me, Chris first. And so, I'll tee y'all up.
Sure.
Okay? All right, ready to go? All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us for an update on last night's storm. You'll be hearing more in a moment from some others, including LG&E and JCPS, but here's a quick overview. This was a devastating storm in many parts of central Kentucky, including Louisville, with most of the local damage centered here in the southeast part of our city. Thousands throughout our city lost power, including so many schools that JCPS had to cancel classes for today. Our mobile emergency operations center is here on site assisting with communications and coordination, and the National Weather Service is investigating whether there was a tornado touchdown here. There's certainly evidence that would suggest that that could be the case. There is some widespread damage here in a localized basis. A Weather Service team will be surveying the area this morning to give us a more definitive answer. We are very fortunate in terms of what appears to be no loss of life, no serious damage to people, which is always our number one concern. But due to the damage that's already been seen, I am declaring a state of emergency to the governor and state emergency management for the potential to assist locally with recovery efforts. And thankfully, as I said, there have been no reports of death or serious injuries. Credit for that, I think, goes in large part to residents taking heed of the warnings and alerts and taking the steps necessary to protect themselves and their families. I want to really give a shout out to all of the hardworking public servants who are on call 24/7 to mobilize in response to all kinds of weather. And thanks to everybody, including our public works and our first responders, including Metro and Suburban Fire, and others who take on the dangerous work during severe weather so the rest of us can stay safe. This is 24/7. I'm grateful. I know we all are 24/7. But last night, once again, our teams came together and worked extraordinarily well around the clock. You're seeing some tired faces behind us here because a lot of people didn't get any sleep last night. So I want to say a big, big thank you to them for all the tremendous work that they've done since these storms hit, and there'll be more work to follow as well. Chief with Fern Creek Fire Department, Nathan Mulvey. Fern Creek Fire Department obviously has been on the scene since before the storms hit, during the storms hit, and then of course keeping everybody safe since then. So we're now going to hear from Chief of the Fern Creek Fire Department, Chief Nathan Mulvey. Chief?
Yes. So first, I just want to extend a big thank you to the other agencies throughout Jefferson County and Louisville for their assistance throughout the night, and as we continue over the next several hours and days as we work on the recovery efforts from this devastating tornado, perceived tornado. We're very thankful that there were no known injuries as a direct result, as well as no fatalities. We have been working throughout the night in a grid style pattern to check neighborhoods, residences throughout Fern Creek and the surrounding communities who were affected. We've had well over 50 personnel from suburban and urban services fire protection districts out throughout the night cutting trees, working with LG&E and Public Works to clear the roadways and try to mitigate as much as possible. We will be continuing to work with these agencies throughout the day and throughout the days to come as we continue to try to resolve any emergency issues that come about. I want to extend, again, a special thanks to Metro Emergency Services for their assistance in getting this resource out here to us last night. Obviously, the weather was pretty horrific, and having something like this and the interoperability to work together was definitely a blessing. So just want to give a special thank you to them, I guess a big thank you to those who were out in all of this throughout the evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Appreciate you. I want to echo my thanks too for our emergency operations team led by Jody Myman. A lot of these guys behind us here are folks that went down to Western Kentucky, obviously when the devastating tornadoes hit there just last year. So got a little experience both with these type of operations, but we're constantly working and training for incidents like this, and we hope they never come, but they do. And when they do come, we work well together. So I'm very grateful for that. Part of that teamwork is our Metro Council. Robin Engel is the Metro Council representative for this district now, and he's going to share a few words with us. Councilman?
Thank you, Mayor, for your team to be out here. Last night, my wife and I, like many of us, were in the basement watching as this funnel cloud moved just south of our home. Kind of horrific scene above Kroger, that dark black cloud that you've probably seen on the news. But we are extremely thankful to hear that there's been no injuries. Glen Mary, our office will be in touch with any residents that need any type of assistance, and we're probably going to be clearing debris. We'll probably be in touch with Public Works, but we're there for you. But we're extremely grateful that the injuries were minimal, and we were in touch with many Glen Mary residents live time last night while the tornado siren was blaring, so everybody should have known what was happening, so that we're thankful for that too. But again, we'll be in touch with our constituents as the week unfolds. Thank you very much.
Councilman James Peden had some activity in his district as well, and he's here to share a few remarks with us. Councilman?
I can't add a whole lot. Again, thank you to the emergency services that pretty much ran all night long. I was talking to Chief Mulvey, hadn't had any sleep, as probably everyone who works from yesterday. To repeat something that Councilman Engel said, which is if you need anything, call the office. I know the most important thing in our society today is just being able to communicate, and in order to do that, you need electricity. So very big thank you to LG&E. When I went to bed last night, we had no power. I think it came on about 3 in the morning. If there's anybody still out, let us know. I think we're down to a house-by-house basis. And the last group of people I'd like to thank is everybody's neighbors. My neighbor's shed wound up in my backyard. I was standing on my deck watching this thing get started before I actually did the smart thing and ran. But at the same time, by the time it was over, we were out helping a neighbor put her fence back up so she could let her dogs out. And this morning, a bunch of us got together and moved a tree out of a road. And it's taking neighbors with chainsaws and neighbors with power equipment, but we're getting it done and getting it cleaned up. But if anybody needs any help, do call whatever resources you need. Thank you.
Okay, Public Works has been on the job since all of this activity was taking place. Obviously, a lot of debris to clear as well, so we're going to get an update on that from Brian Funk from Metro Public Works. Brian?
Good morning. We've been out since really after the storm ended to start to clear the roads from any tree damage, and there was a significant amount of tree damage in this part of Jefferson County. So many streets like Gentry Lane and Seatonville Road, Bardstown Road here, Old Bardstown, Brentlinger, Dawson Hill, and Brush Run have had a lot of damage this morning. I'm very pleased with our crews. They did a lot of great work last night and are continuing to do that this morning. We had about 4 crews out last night after the storm. We've got everybody out this morning, about 60 to 70 people out this morning to continue that. Last night they were able to open up pretty much all the streets other than the one right adjacent to us here at Brentlinger, and of course over here in Glen Mary. There's still work to be done. We'll continue to open up the streets to get all the lanes open, and then after that we'll be starting to remove some of the larger debris to haul that away. We'll be busy with that pretty much all day today, tomorrow, Saturday. Obviously we're not going to work Sunday with being Easter, but then continue next week as necessary to hopefully finish that up as the need shows itself. So thank you very much to all of our crews who worked last night. It was a lot of work. I'm very pleased with the result this morning. Still more work to be done. Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. The folks at LG&E are always a tremendous asset during times like this. Their responsiveness is super fast as well. They were responding to power outages last night. Most power has been restored, although crews are still out working today. So we're going to hear now from Chris Whalen from LG&E, who's going to give us the latest on that. Chris?
Thank you, Mayor. As the Mayor said, our crews have been out working overnight. We here in Louisville had about 26,000 customers out without service. And last night we're down to about 8,600. So they've done a really good job of getting service back on. But as you can see by the poles here behind you, the heavy lifting is ahead of us. We've got about 160 wire downs and 40 broken poles that is going to take a lot of heavy lifting. I appreciate the patience of our customers as we restore power safely, and we encourage everyone to stay away from any down lines, and if you do see a down line, please call 589-1444. So I said, we expect to have the bulk of the customers on today, but there will be some more into tomorrow. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chris, and thanks again to LG&E. Now, all of our teams here have been working with the American Red Cross and Fern Creek Chamber of Commerce to open up a community respite station for residents to get out of the weather, charge their devices, and share their needs with Red Cross personnel. The respite station will be open today at the Fern Creek Chamber of Commerce, directly next door to the Fern Creek Fire Department Station 1 at 6104 Bardstown Road, opening at 10:30 a.m. and staying open until 6 p.m. Now, as I mentioned, the power outages combined with the debris in roadways forced cancellation of classes in JCPS today. So I'd like to invite Carolyn Callahan of JCPS to give us the latest on that. Carolyn?
Thank you, Mayor Fischer. Good morning, everyone. We still have a handful of schools without power at this time. This morning, when we made this decision to cancel schools, we had nearly a dozen schools without power. We also had bus compounds without power this morning. And because of the debris and the trees in the road, there was no safe way and no logistic way that we could do transportation for our students and be safe about it. So we made the decision to cancel classes today. We are operating as a snow day. So this is not NTI, and the reason for that is because we have students who do not have power right now, so they would not be able to take part in NTI. We have crews out now who are assessing the damage at our buildings. Right now, we are happy to say from our preliminary reports that we're just seeing some minor damage. Trees down, branches down, some trees down in parking lots or at playgrounds, but we are still going through our buildings and seeing if there's any other damage that we need to know about and we need to address. At this point, we are still going ahead with our community forum at Moore tonight, but we are going to assess that as the day goes on. We'll also assess whether or not we'll be back in class tomorrow, but right now we are anticipating being back in school tomorrow, but we will of course keep you all updated. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. I want to add that my office has also been in touch this morning with Congressman John Yarmouth's office, Senator Mitch McConnell's offices. We'll be updating them as we go ahead today, and obviously the state is here with us as well, so we're in touch with the governor's team as well. So again, I want to thank everybody for helping out in this storm response, both last night and the coming days. We all appreciate their hard work. We've got a great team when it comes together to address any type of natural disasters, and we're seeing that in evidence right now. For the families that were affected by this, please know that we're here with you 24/7. Let us know what you need. We will respond accordingly as we continue to work through this weather event from last night. With that, we're happy to take any questions. Yeah. Well, Chief, do you know that?
Unfortunately, at this time, we don't have an accurate count. I would say we probably helped to assist 15 families to be relocated, whether it was with a neighbor or to have someone come and assist them to get just to another location. But that's all we know at this point. At this point, none of them needed those services. Those services were set up today and were offered last night to those residents who needed to be moved. But as we go out and do secondary checks today, we'll be reevaluating, determining what that looks like. One thing too, just as a reminder, for all of you that are at home without power, just keep in mind the risks that are associated with operating generators. Make sure they're being operated outside. Obviously, do not operate any of those on the inside of your homes. Same things with temporary heat. Obviously, it cooled off drastically from what it was yesterday. So just to be aware of that. Make sure you're storing fuel in the appropriate areas, and again, be cautious of all those down power lines. So.
The state emergency management is on site here. They're standing by to help as they can be, and obviously, unfortunately, we've gotten a lot of experience with these type of weather events. So they'll be there for us. I'm certain of that.
Absolutely. You should report those outages. You can do that either through our mobile app, or you can call us, or you can go online. You can download the mobile app. It has our outage map, shows where the area is, and gives you estimated restoration times and so forth. So you can pick that up on Google or Apple. Either way, that's probably the easiest and most efficient manner. So thank you.
Oh, as soon as the reports that we got were as soon as the sirens were set off. I was in the communication center when when the button was pushed, and they started to automatically populate, and we heard the ones outside our door go off immediately. So as far as we know, and we will get a report, we can get an automatic report to see if there was any that malfunctioned, and we haven't got any so far. No, we have an automatic way to do it as well. It's automatic as well.
All right, well, thank you all for covering this. We'll keep you in touch throughout the day. And again, a big hat tip to everybody involved, especially here at Fern Creek Fire, Chief Mulvey and the entire team. Thank you all for being here today.